The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana says it is working round the clock to supply essential medicines that are needed for the treatment of COVID-19. A member of the Public Health and Communications Committee of the Society has disclosed the country does not have all the medication recommended by the World Health Organization. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting under the auspices of the Ministry of Information, Dr. Mark Giradosi assured measures have been put in place to address the situation.
We have put together already protocols and SOPs for our members. We've put together handouts and communication material for the general public. We've acted a few videos that have started, have actually gone into circulation. And the big one is we're working with Ghana. We've reviewed the treatment protocols and everything else. And we looked at the medicines that are key in the management, because a lot of the protocols that have come from WHO and the CDC and so forth, some of the medicines actually are not in Ghana, and we have to take measures to quickly bring them in to make sure that if we have active or any confirmed cases and they require intensive care and other things, we'll be able to properly manage them in Ghana. So that is what we have so far.
Meanwhile, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has condemned the sharp rise in the prices of goods on the market, especially hand sanitizers. He spoke at the same event.
I'd like to appeal to people who sell various products that can help in this cause. This is not the time to be unduly profiteering with your products and your services. Like the President said yesterday, these are not ordinary times. These are the times when we have to come together as a human species and ensure that we do things that assure the survival of each and every one of us.
Authorities of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have given students up to Friday to vacate the halls of residence in line with government's directive to close down schools. International students will, however, be allowed to stay under special arrangements. At an emergency meeting on Monday, management also decided staff and students who have traveled abroad will be quarantined and screened on return. Meanwhile, students of second cycle schools have been leaving the various campuses. Here's more with Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko.
An almost deserted campus less than 24 hours after the president ordered the closure of all basic second cycle and universities due to the coronavirus scare. Mid-semester exams scheduled for today and all other activities have been postponed indefinitely. An emergency meeting of university authorities has decided, among others, students should leave the various halls by Friday. Dr. Daniel Norris Bequin is the University Relations Officer.
That the university is shutting down and all students are supposed to leave the university to their various homes by Friday. International students are, however, allowed to stay because of the closure of borders. Now, the university hospital or the team of experts have also been established to monitor the situation on the ground and continue with public education on the possible ways of preventing the infection of COVID-19. Again, staff and students who are outside the country on exchange programs will be quarantined when they return, and they screen. And those who are infected will be referred to the regional center established to handle this pandemic.
At the various senior high schools, students have been filing out of their campuses. We were told at St. Louis Senior High School, arrangements have been made to transport students who live outside the region starting tomorrow. At the Kumasi High School, many students were seen leaving as their final year colleagues settled to study. Headmaster Bernard Hall Bedu says all GES directives have been followed.
Instructions are very simple. First years, second years, they are to go home. The final year students are to stay. And you can understand why, because they have their exams upcoming. And if you allow them to go home today, nobody can predict how it's going to be like when they are ready for their exams. And so I think that it's a very good decision. We are ready to go by it.
Meanwhile, a peep at the Kumasi South Hospital by the news team revealed strict hand washing and screening of patients and staff. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
And still on fallouts of this coronavirus, long queues are beginning to form at supermarket and shopping centers as the ban on public gatherings take effect. President Akufo-Addo directed an indefinite closure of schools and placed the ban on public gatherings as the country confirmed 6 coronavirus cases. Supermarkets here in Accra have since seen a rise in sales as customers continue to troop in to shop for fear of food shortage. Aisha Ibrahim visited one of such supermarkets at North Kanishi in Accra Monday and filed the following report.
This is the Awenyame supermarket. The place is crowded with customers buying toiletries, groceries that will take them longer than they will normally buy. The shelves are virtually getting empty. Let's get in there and see what is going on. Most shelves at all branches of the Awenyame supermarket at North Kanishi and Atiko in Accra were virtually empty as scores of people shopped in large quantities for fear of food shortage in the event of a shutdown.
It's just coincidental that I happen to, come around today. But then looking at the way people are rushing for the items on the shelf, I just have to increase because you are not sure what will happen the next time you have to come and do your normal shopping. Into the shop and then everybody rushing for the items, the shelves are almost empty. That is what triggered me going more than maybe my normal budget.
Items including sanitizers, disinfectants and toilet papers are already running out. What are some of the things you
coming into the shop? Dettol and those other items.
That reminds me, I need Dettol too. Let me go get one.
I think the last on the shelf.
Oh my goodness. Manager at the supermarkets says sales has tripled after the confirmation of the first COVID-19 case in Ghana last Thursday. The good thing though, workers at the supermarket confirm there is little exchange of cash as many opt for electronic payment.
People are using a lot of their ATMs and mobile money since they don't have cash on them because some are not prepared to buy the stuff, but when they come around and they see what is going on, they have to buy.
Aisha Ibrahim, Joy News, North Kanishi.
Well, some traders at the Agbogloshi market, also here in Accra, are opting for the locally brewed gin, popularly known as akpeteshi, to disinfect their hands in the wake of the coronavirus spread. There's presently an astronomical increase in the price of regular hand sanitizers, and as shown in our earlier conversation, while the traders believe that alcohol content is capable of killing the virus, just like the sanitizers. Joy News' Mamiesi Thompson has more in this following report.
A cucumber seller demonstrates how she uses the akpeteshi to disinfect her hands. She pours a bit of the quarter-filled 500ml bottle into her palms and rubs till it fades into her skin. She trusts that this procedure has killed any virus and is ready to serve her customers.
The
akpeteshi serves the same purpose as the sanitizers for me. I am able to use it for a day or two, and it helps sanitize my hands while handling money and even shaking people as well. She's not the only one who has embraced this new style of protecting oneself from the spread of the coronavirus. Her colleagues have bought into the idea.
I use sanitizer and akpeteshi. They say akpeteshi. So this morning I use akpeteshi and sanitizer to wash my hand because of the alcohol.
It used to be 2 cedis, but now it has become 8 cedis. And our alternative is to use the akpeteshi. Even though their new style hasn't been proven scientifically, it's a better alternative to the now expensive hand sanitizers. The 2 cedi bottle now sells at 8 cedis and the 5 cedi bottle now sells at 12 cedis. This trader is very unhappy about the situation.
How many people can afford it now, especially the poor? Imagine a family of 2 or 4 children. How will they manage? It's very disheartening.
But vendors have been justifying the prices. One of them who attempted to explain says they have no control over the situation.
Very early this morning, I had to go and restock, and the prices had ballooned. It is not my fault.
Meanwhile, Akpetishi seller Auntie Lazy is happy her Akpetishi is moving. While there, she serves a customer.
The young men enjoy the akpeteshi. They say it helps their health, and they also use it as a sanitizer.
On the other hand, other traders are ensuring consistent washing of their hands as a protective measure. For JoyNews, Esinyamiche Thompson.
Well, here's what we know. Authorities and professionals have not confirmed that this way of using akpeteshi is effective at fighting this coronavirus. But let's go back to the traditional hand washing. That's effective. Now, the Northern Regional Security Council has directed the police in the region to ensure that no broken down vehicle remains on any of their roads for more than 24 hours. Chairman of the Regional Security Council, Alhaji Salifu Saeed, says this directive takes immediate effect and all metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives in the region are to enforce this in their respective districts. He says a number of lives have been lost in the region after their vehicles crashed into broken down ones. Alhaji Salifu Saeed says this is one of many other interventions they have lined up in support of JoyNews' Arrive Alive campaign.
The people who come into northern region, when it comes to the usage of our roads, does not necessarily pin itself down to only people in the region, because we go to serve people come to buy goods, and we also go to buy goods and sell. So therefore, road safety issues is not just a rhetoric, it is a life-saving matter. And for that matter, if we try to protect and have patience on our roads, especially the drivers. If we are on the road, let us have patience. The drivers should be very cautious, because you are carrying human beings, you are carrying lives. Nobody can fix life into any human being. So we are appealing to everybody, and we don't know the Ghanaian who will bring up an idea that will save the entire nation and the world. So every human person's life is very crucial to our dear nation. So that is why I am taking the pain to appeal to our people in northern region and all other people who come into the region to do transactions, to exercise patience when they are on the roads. And then also the motor riders, the tricycle users, the yellow users, they should have patience. I am giving the powers and directive to the police and the MT2 unit and the road safety units that they have my backing and the backing of the Yana when it comes to the traditional people. And when it comes to the political authority, I'm also representing the president. The road safety workers, police, MT2, when you see people violating the rule, you arrest them immediately. Arrest them and send them to, and the politicians shouldn't go to plead to get them released. They must suffer the punitive measures that need to be meted out to them. Then also the traditional authorities, they have already resolved, especially the king of Dagbon, that he's going to ensure that people do same. And then also we have the regent of Bimbila in the Nanumba traditional area. We have Ubor in Saboba, who is also in charge of the Konkomba area. We also have the Taltale, Sanguli, the Basare, Paramount chief is there, and all other chiefs, the imams. All of them within northern region, they are the people we are working closely with their sub-chiefs to ensure that they caution their people, because this time when the police, they arrest them, they must suffer the consequences. I also want to ask the police, especially the MTT unit, to ensure that people whose vehicles break down on the roads, they should give them 24 hours, not 48 hours, 24. They must move the vehicles on the main roads, because when vehicles, they leave them, other vehicles run into them, and they are the accidents that you see when it occurs. 20, 30 people die on the spot. So this thing is very dangerous. When you go to Europe, it doesn't happen like that. When your vehicle breaks down and they cannot fix it on the spot, you need to look for tow vehicle to come and tow it away. I am going to make sure that all the metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives in the region, they also support their district police administration to make sure that they comply to these directives. I also want to say that we want everybody who wants to travel from one point, their point of origin to their point of destination, they travel, they start the journey safely and arrive safely. That is why we want people to travel and arrive safely. And so JoyNews is always advocating that arrive alive. And I am sitting here to support and add my voice on behalf of the generality of the people in Northern Region and on behalf of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, that we support Arrive Alive initiative, and everybody should see it as a responsibility on themselves, because we want to live long. And if you want to live long, don't already expose yourself to dangers when you are on the roads.
Well, we thank Northern Ghana for coming on board Arrive Alive. Now, over the last 2 years, JoyNews has reported on how communities in the Bongo and Kassena-Nankana West districts of the Upper East region were constructing household latrines to help combat open defecation, following the advocacy work of Water Aid Ghana in those areas. Now, the impact of climate change is threatening the sustainability of those latrines, as many have collapsed following the torrential rains, which led to floods that killed some 28 people and left thousands displaced in the area last year. Here's correspondent Albert Sori's report.
2 years ago, Rosina Nsobila and members of her household were using this household latrine they built themselves. Today, she is standing near a pile of the rubble from what used to be their household latrine.
It was during the rainy season time. Because of the rains heavily, I woke up one day and it's like there was some crack mark all over. So I was having in mind that no matter what, it by almost collapsed. So one day, it was in the afternoon around 12 to 1, when one guy was to enter there. So I hear some sound and I asked him to go here, not to enter there. If not, that maybe it may collapse on him. So when he just moved, no, the thing just came down.
This is the Asaloko community in the Bongo district, one of several communities now declared open defecation free following the work of Water Aid Ghana. The residents had mobilized and built their own household latrines in response to the eye-opening water, sanitation and hygiene, or WASH for Public Health project implemented by Water Aid Ghana.
It was Water Aid people who came to our community to talk about hygiene, how to handle ourselves and all those things. So it was through them that we get to know that doing open defecation is not good. Firstly, we always go anyhow where you can hide yourself and free yourself. But from then they came and they taught us about how going to toilet openly is not good. How the flies will go and sit in it and come and touch our food and we eat. That's why we go ahead to construct the latrines.
Torrential rains and accompanying floods in the Upper East region last year collapsed many homes, killing at least 28 people. The latrines, built by the people of Asaloko and other communities here in the Bongo and Kassena-Nankana West districts, were not spared in the disaster. Rosina's family's latrine was one of them.
It's not easy for us, simply because when you feel like going to toilet and in the daytime you get to our neighbor house to do, when if you get there and somebody is there, you have to wait.
Other homes lost their latrines to the floods, including the families of Awene Agoni and Azore Inyaba, who were just looking through the debris of their collapsed latrines at the time of our visits.
Meanwhile, the director of Water Aid Ghana is urging government to help residents build resilient structures. He spoke on the AM show with me earlier.
In Ghana's the National Climate Adaptation Strategy, we are talking of preserving and conserving the water resources in terms of quantity and quality. So let's ask ourselves whether this collapsed toilet could have any impact on the groundwater that may serve as a resource for some other communities. So because of this, government needs to be concerned, and we all need to be concerned. So it is important that we come up with alternatives to support them to build resilient toilets.
What would they need?
They will need to line the pit. Yeah. Because what we are doing now is the Aprotech, that people just dig pits and deck it with mud or sticks and other things, local material. But because the water table will rise during the rainy season. In fact, last year what happened was it was torrential rain, which lasted for a very long time.
Comes back to the whole climate change.
Exactly. So once that happens, they are not able to sustain. And one other thing is that people also don't place premium on the toilet. They think it's just a basic thing. Unlike their building that they use mud, the buildings are standing, they have not collapsed. Why should the toilet collapse? So in terms of capacity development, in terms of awareness creation, that it is as equally as important as your household, as your house that you have built, we need to do the best. All in all, they will need to line the pit.
Okay. And that will cost. That would
cost. That's cement.
Now, the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, has asked government not to allow a planned conference of gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and the transgender community in Ghana to go on. He says if the country turns deaf ear and goes ahead to host the group, it will bring calamity onto the nation. He spoke at his Fadama residence Monday.
Mata domin maza, yalci maza domin mata ba. Haka ne.
The intended conference to be held by the community of the gay, the LBGT. Information has reached him that there was an intention, and it's not very clear to him whether that conference has been cancelled. And so therefore he adds his voice to call on the government and all related relevant institutions never to allow this to happen in our country. Gayism and lesbianism is an abomination, and time in history it has been the reason why in the Quran a whole nation was capsized and was destroyed by God. And this is a story that both Muslims and Christians share, and that's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. What was done to those people in that times because of their sinfulness can also visit us at our time when we reduce ourselves to this kind of pernicious, immoral, sinful act that shows our ungratefulness to God. God has been so gracious to us as a nation. He has shown us his favors. He's been very gracious, giving us his gifts that relates to harmony, stability, preventing instability, disharmony, war, conflict.
Kiyaye, Allah kiyaye mu, Allah kiyaye dangana, shi Allah ya ɗauki wannan neman nan, ya musanya shi azaba.
Our governments must remain resolute and never to allow the pressure of the international community to make us accept this kind of immoral and sinful act on the altar of political expediency.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Airline operators have begun talks with the Ministry of Aviation on the implementation of government's travel restrictions to fight the coronavirus outbreak. The meeting was held with all relevant stakeholders and regulators in the aviation sector to ensure all concerns with the directive are addressed. Minister for Aviation Joseph Kofiada said the airline representatives had agreed to cooperate with government.
The travel advisory by government discouraged travel to the country until further notice. The advisory goes on to say that travelers, except for Ghanaian citizens and persons with Ghana residence permits, who within the last 14 days had been to a country that had recorded more than 200 cases of the COVID-19, would not be allowed into the Ghanaian jurisdiction. On the back of the announcement, the Board of Airline Representatives met with the ministry to discuss the implementation of the directive. Joseph Kofiada is the Minister for Aviation.
We are all aware of the travel notice and the announcements made by the Minister of Information and the Director of Health Services. We are also aware of the national address delivered by the President last night. All those are in the direction of trying to make sure we contain this pandemic and ensure that we stay alive, especially we in the aviation sector, who are more or less the conduit of this virus, are able to put it in check. We've got some statements that we've issued. I think there's a little press coverage that we did by ourselves that we'll share with you to let them know that the airline reps, they have agreed to cooperate with us to effectively address this matter.
The minister adds a formal notice will be issued on the rollout of the travel advisory by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority.
In our discussions with the airline reps, they asked for NOTAM, which we know is the effective directive that should come from the Civil Aviation Authority on all the arrangements that are required for them to comply with. Government has issued this travel notice. We have made various statements. The President has addressed the nation, but the NOTAM will effectively be the one that specifies how the airlines should comply with the directives of government. That is being issued as we speak.
For Joy Business, Shilata Maklo reporting.
Huawei Technology has introduced its new digital solution to support banking operations without the physical appearance of customers. The ThinkCube solution is a technology that would ensure customers get access to their bank's platforms and transact various forms of businesses. Speaking to Joy Business at the Mobile Technology for Development Conference in Accra, Director at Huawei's Financial Services Inclusion Department, Shenzhen Tao, said it will be a game changer for financial sector players. According to the technology giant, introducing such a product to the Ghanaian market will help financial inclusion drive of government. The company says it is aiming to put the development and promotion of financial inclusiveness as a strategic goal and hopes to support government's initiative. Director at Huawei Financial Services Inclusion Department, Shenzhen Tao, says this will be a game changer.
The banks, also the consumer of the banks, they want to go to the physical branch to engage with the bank, right? But with this technology, the bank can give the end users like expert service. What does that mean? That is, if I'm the user, I'm VIP of the bank. When I go inside into the physical branch, actually the bank can leverage this, dedicated technology. There is a dedicated expert remotely can support me my business requirement, but with very high level experience, expert service or something. This is kind of new, I think, service type for this kind of solution.
The Huawei team during the Mobile Technology for Development Conference further highlighted the importance of the product.
Through our ThinkCube solution, our digital platform solution called the ThinkCube, which is more agile, more open and distributed, and also based on cloud, so on-premise cloud, co-located on co-location premises, and then also in our public cloud. We are able to help our customers, our banks, financial service institutions, to provide new digital core. What it means is you can run it side by side and then move digital services to this new digital platform to provide better digital services like mobile banking and mobile services to customers.
The ThinkCube can also be used by tertiary institutions as well as corporate bodies for presentations. Going digital, very important in these times. That's it for business. Sports is coming up next on News Desk.
Oh, there's hope, George Adejenia.
Yeah,
there is. And there's good laughter.
Good laughter.
Yeah.
And there's hope for sports. We are digging for the stories.
Yes, I see that. And
we are trying very hard.
Kwesi Appiah has brought himself.
Yeah, Kwesi Appiah and his backroom stuff. They've been owed monies. They've been owed salaries. They've not been paid. I think for the last 5 months, last 6 months before he ended his job. So
that's what, totaling $175,000?
Yes, dollars. That's good money. I mean, if you do the multiplication and you try to do, let me use this word, you try to transcribe in cities.
So what was the agreement? So here's the thing. What was the agreement? What's in his contract?
I have two problems. My problem is that, so we're not going to know about this if he wasn't sacked.
Okay.
Is that the situation?
Well, because they would have paid him somehow, or he would have been quiet because
he's been out of this job and it's been 3 months plus. So I don't know why our national team coach would not be paid for 1 month, 2, 3, 4, 5, end the job, hand over to the next man, 1, 2, 3, and he's looking for his money. I'm a bit surprised and a bit disappointed as well. I hope that the authorities will do what they have to do and get it sorted out.
I thought when we're ending, okay, we didn't renew that contract, so we had to end everything with him.
Yes, so we had to pay his money.
Has he given any ultimatum from what you have heard?
He has given the Ghana Football Association a 2 weeks ultimatum. He's insisting that if they don't get those monies, then he'll take them to court. Because the Ghana Football Association have gone ahead and taken the things that were not for him. Black Stars coach's car, he's expected to move out of the house that was handed over and all of that. So we'll see how this pans out. But clearly, it's a big fight.
I've got a few questions, though, because I also heard that our current coach either doesn't have a contract. We haven't paid him for a couple of months
now. His contract has not been, he has not seen his contract. He has not signed a contract. They are still working on that. It's not solely the fault of the Ghana Football Association, but also that of the sports ministry. So that needs to be sorted out, and they're working on it. So I don't know how we find ourselves here with the former coach still being owed monies and the current coach not having a contract. Hopefully we can sort this out. But there's another one I'll be taking you to, because we're waiting for that important decision from UEFA on what happens to the
Euro
Euros.
2020.
Yes, and again, what happens to the UEFA Champions League. Because the first thing is that if Euros are postponed, as we are all expecting, then I think that the other leagues in Europe have the opportunity then to wrap up their leagues well, and there'll be no problems, so that Liverpool can win their title for the first time in 30 years, and there'll be no issues. If that doesn't happen, because remember that all of this will be done paying attention to the fluid situation. We are hearing that, or we know that the analysis is that coronavirus is going to peak in June. If it's going to peak in June, then it's probably going to be sliding down in July. It gives you the opportunity and a window to do that, which would suggest that Euro should not come on. If they look at that and they're trying to take a very big decision and decide not to go ahead with the Euros, then the question is going to be, all right, then you guys are supposed to produce £275,000 each before they will move the Euros, because moving Euros as well will come at a cost for UEFA. And until UEFA is satisfied that that cost can be dealt with by the associations who want it to happen, there will be no point in that. So it's a very big one, and the meeting is ongoing at the moment. It's a video conference, as you expect, and very soon we'll know what happens.
So we're still waiting.
Yeah.
This one sounds like there's no action either on the pitch, and now everything has frozen because we're still waiting for big decisions.
We are waiting for big decisions, and it's just the way things are going to be now. So there are other issues with player contracts. The last thing I read before I came on was the Professional Footballers Association worldwide is talking about how players' contracts would be. Some players are having their contracts running out. How they're going to solve that in this situation, because players like Willian, who have their contracts is running out, others who would like to renew contracts, and all of that in this space is really, really tight, because the clubs are saying, well, there's no football to be played anyway, and if your contract is running out and you want to renew your contract, you want to step out, it's a big one. It's created a novelty situation for everyone, and we all have to try and adapt. It's good. Meanwhile, Great Olympics are winning points in the boardroom, and they're doing a good job at that. Mediama fielded an ineligible player for them in the game against them on match day 12. That has been overturned, so now they have their 3 points. The Mediama have dropped from 30 points to 27. But Mediama said they are carrying this to the greatest extent. They are making to make sure that they get their points back from Oli that
So they're fighting this.
it's difficult.
Well, but still, never say
genuinely,
die.
when you are playing Oli, I mean, not to say anything bad about Oli, but when you're playing against Oli, you have two battles. The first one is on the pitch. The second one is a legal battle.
They're good at it.
They've got some litigants who know what to do. Yeah, they're good.
Well, thank you, George. I see we're taking advantage of the situation.
Yes,
I mean,
we love
getting excited about it, even though we have
very
we have
little on the pitch.
COVID-19.
But
Exactly.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But it's all good.
Just trying to
thank
judge
you, George.
if the gutter to gutter and the Ifichi football has stopped. We'll try and bring a report on that. We have to check on that. Because that's going on.
You should give us an update tomorrow, God willing.
We'll try and do that,
well,
because we have all the students.
There's a lot more sports on our page. Our page is very active. It's myjoyonline.com. Go to the sports page and explore. But here's what I want to say for closing. Hand sanitizer is obviously a hot commodity right now, and you may not be able to lay your hands on one. But remember that the first option is even better. What's that? Simple hand washing. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water, and you're good to go. Remember to arrive alive. Stay with us. Plenty conversations online, and that comes up here on Joy News as Joy News Interactive. Thank you for watching.